Yeah, hello and welcome to my video. I'm just showing off my British Napoleonics. These are Highlanders from the Victrix range, 28mm. These I painted a while ago, but this is just kind of a small section of my army I'm currently building. I built this up quite a while ago, but enough just to get a game of sharps practice. I've got quite a few people at the local game club who play Napoleonic sharp practice, so I built up this army so I could get some game time. I've done a couple of narrative game modes with it. So someone done a game narrative weekend. I went along as a Highlanders for the day and played a couple of games. Quite enjoyed it. I kind of sticking to my whole tabletop standard paint scheme. I've done it sort of simple, but with the Victrix models, there's just a lot of detail on there, so made it quite pleasurable to paint. The fact I got a lot to kind of get stuck into. So I think they look nice on it. Like I said, a tabletop standard. When you're playing, they look nice. Up close, probably not as neat as they could be, but it's just something I threw together just so I could get playing really. In this force, I've got 3 8-man units of just standard rifles. I've painted up 2 spear sergeants. I've painted up a flag, so a banner bearer or a flag bearer, and 2 musicians. One of them's a drummer, one of them's bagpipes. I got 2 commanders who are a bit more officer rank, and then I've got a unit, or attachment of rifles, which I use as a skirmisher unit. So I really enjoyed, like I said, I really enjoyed painting these. It was quite a while ago when I painted them. I put a bit more effort in than I did with my American Civil War, but this took a lot longer, and I've still got half an army sat there that I haven't painted up because it's just such a big job to get them painted. But like I said, I do like these. They do look nice. I've had a few games. I've quite enjoyed playing with them. So yeah, I'll just show them off. So start with a couple of commanders. So here's my main commander. Again, he's not overly painted to a very high standard, but I think he looks good enough for the table. A bit like my Confederates, these are based on penny pieces, and if you can see, these are all actually on their own little individual bases, sabot bases. So I've got my skirmishers, they're in bases of 2. You can see I can take these out, and it's just that little sabot base. This is why I've kind of got all my historics based on 2 penny pieces, because single penny pieces, because I can chuck them on these bases. These units are on their own little sabot bases as well. Not sure if you can see probably quite easily, but it just means in sharps practice, which I play, they're in these units of 8, a lot of the line infantry, so I can kind of move them around nice and easy. Makes it a lot easier, a lot nicer as well. It just keeps it a lot more looking neater on the table, which I quite like. So yeah, that was my commander. I've got, like I said, I've got my 95th rifles. These 95th rifles are actually from Perry Miniatures. They had a sprue. I think it was 99p for a sprue of 2 people, who I just bought a load of them. So they are all the same pose, but I've tried to spice it up as much as I could by changing them up with different poses. So you've got one where a person's got a rifle in his hand. Another one was him holding the rifle, like this guy here. So I mean, I've got 12 of them in total, plus I bought 14 so I could have an officer, which I just kit bashed in. I've just glued a sword onto him, so he looks like an officer. But yeah, I've got another 6 that I'm currently painting up, which should give me 2 skirmish squads, and then I believe I've got another 3 units of 8 linemen ready to be painted up as well. The Victrix is a really good set. There's a lot of models in there for what you pay for, really, which is brilliant. And they are really nice models. The Highlanders look amazing. So yeah, aside my 3 other units of 8 I've got to paint up, I've got 2 more spear sergeants, 2 more officers, 3 more drummers, 3 more bagpipes, and 3 more bannermen. So yeah, I've got quite a lot to play with, really. This is a force I built again just to get playing. I had a bit of help with some people telling me what I should build just to get the game starting. So this is kind of the minimum of what I could do. And yeah, I played some games and I've really enjoyed it. So anything else I build now is only if I want to change it up a bit. I've also got a cannon as well, which I'm currently trying to work on, which I'm not really enjoying because it's a bit difficult trying to figure out uniforms and whatnot and getting the colours right. So I do have a cannon and some more infantry and rifles to be painted up. At the moment I don't really need it because I'm getting on alright with these guys, so I'll probably leave them for a while, especially when I'm working on all my Confederates at the moment. But yeah, I thought I'd show these guys off anyway. So you've seen the officer and some of the rifles. This is a spear sergeant who I could use as just a lower tier officer. So pretty basic. There's a lot of variation on these kits, like with the backpacks it's quite nice how you've got a varied amount of backpacks, having different things bolted onto them just to make them look a bit different. So this is a unit of obviously of 8 who he said based on this Sabat base to keep them all tidy. If I flip around this about, so I've got quite a nice few poses, got some charging, some kind of rifles on the shoulder, and then you've got some shooting poses as well. So these are the guys from the back. If you notice their backpacks, you've got a lot of variation there. You've got some boots on the back, some plain ones with just a bedroll, some with cooking pots on, which I think look really nice. I had a go at painting their kilts. I mean, I didn't really go for any certain pattern. You can't really tell in this light, but it's kind of a very dark blue with some green stripe, well, checkered green lines with a more dominant red line in there. It's just something I threw it together. I thought it looked okay, but I wasn't going to start painting a full tartan. I looked at painting a tartan pattern and it would just be ludicrous, and I'm not that good enough at painting. So that's them. Let's say this is my bagpipe man. He's blowing the pipes. Still really nice model. He's got his sword on him. And this is my drummer and my flag. The drummer was a really nice model. It's just got a lot of detail on there, being a musician, which was quite nice. And that's just my flag officer, or whatever you call him, flag bearer. I assume he's some sort of officer because he's got all the fancy trousers and gear, but I don't really use a flag and musician, to be honest, in the game. I had them as just a bit of a marker for where the army would come on at the start of the game, but I also do have the option of using them as an actual functional character within the game if I ever got around to kind of looking into that. At the moment I just kind of run them quite base. Like I said, it's three units of 8 infantry with some spear sergeants in support, and a main leader leading them, and then I got my rifles with a leader just running around as well. So I think my rifles leader, I think I normally run him at a tier 2 leader, so he's got a bit of functionality. He can actually do a few things. My main leader, I'm not sure, I can't remember what I run him as, probably a 2 as well, and then I've got at least 1 spear sergeant there, I think a tier 1 sorry, with I think a tier 1 who can just be there to kind of remove shock, just to keep the boys in the fight. I can't remember if I run 2 spear sergeants or not. I know I've got 2 painted up, but if I run the second one, it's probably due down to just having a tier 1 again, just to remove shock. I think I normally play a 55 point game, hence the lack of models. But you know, it's a sharps practice. Yeah, this army got me into sharps practice, and yeah, like I said, I've done a few games with it. I've done a few some narrative game days with them. I've got a lot to add on to it. It's just a matter of getting around to painting it. Because I've got my cannon and more infantry and some more rifles. So I'm probably hoping to build them up so I can kind of run some demo games with some friends, really, because I've got a few friends who are quite interested, hopefully. So yeah, so that's just kind of a quick look at my British Highlander Napoleonics. So they're a really nice kit. I'd really recommend getting the Victrix set. It's a lot of models for... I can't remember how much I paid for it now. Not a lot. I think it's either 30 quid, I think, for... I can't bother to do the maths, but 50 something models, I think, or 40 something models. So yeah, really good. And like I said, I bought the Riflemen from Perry's. They're really nice. I know Warlord do some Riflemen as well. They do the Chosen box set, but I think it's metal. I think not so keen on metal miniatures, to be honest. I quite like painting plastic. I know metal's got its pros and cons, but I just prefer plastics. That's just me. So yeah, I brought the Perry's miniatures, and I think they look nice. The rifles. I know they're technically it's 2 bodies and a set of arms, but I change them around enough, and it's not. You're not really going to kind of pick it out and go, ooh, they're the same. So yeah, I think it looks nice. Again, this is just my kind of insights of kind of showing off what I've made or what I've painted up. I say it is a function army as well. I've used it and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend anyone to give sharps practice a go. I found it's quite common I say quite common amongst historical players. It's a common in my games club. I understand it's not a true historic game. It's a bit more about having a bit of fun and narrative and a bit of flavour to the game rather than being historically accurate. But that's the Lardy's mindset, I think. So yeah, it's a really good game mode, and like I said, I used this army for it and I've really enjoyed it. So I hope you liked looking at my army, and as always, just keep an eye out for any other things I end up releasing on YouTube. So yeah, I appreciate you watched all the way through, and thank you very much. Cheers, guys.